I Remember by Mavis Gunter of Lake Munmora 2259. Narrated by Janine Penfold. In the evenings, I remember the kerosene light hanging from the ceiling of the little wattle and daub house, illuminating Mum sitting at the piano, singing in her deep, contralto voice the Scottish and Irish songs my father enjoyed. She sang the classic and religious songs closer to her heart. Dad often sat at the table with my oldest sister, playing draughts or snakes and ladders. They both enjoyed cheating and laughed when they were caught. My brother marched back and forth across the backyard, playing the bagpipes, while an elderly couple sat on their back veranda to listen to the stirring music of their ancestors as it drifted across the paddocks. I often sat with Dad while he told me of his youth in the Highlands of Scotland. I felt a homesickness for the land I had never seen as he spoke in his soft Scottish tongue. There are no better storytellers than the Scots and the Irish. We discussed many things as our conversation meandered through the night. Dad started driving about 1918. We laughed about the gearbox full of neutrals and having to double shuffle to find a gear. His favourite car was a 1930 Ford. He called her Old Betty. He said to bury her with him as it had got him out of many a hole. He told of her idiosyncrasies, her crank handle with the kick of a mule, the small advance and retard lever on the steering wheel. Too much, and she flooded too little, and she wouldn't start. Old Betty never had good brakes. Dad said he never braked hard enough and only polished the pads. He advised me when parking uphill to turn the back wheel into the curb, and when facing downhill to turn the front wheel to the curb. When old Betty got older, she lost the knobs from the instrument panel. They were replaced by wires twisted to a circle on the end so as not to be lost behind the panel. He told me of the retail mottos. The shoe repairer. I have the hide to mend your rotten soles. The fruit shop. Don't squeeze me until I'm yours. The baker. The home of the big loafer. The truck delivering curtains and blinds. The driver of this truck is a blind man. When I turned 21, Dad bought me my first car, an Australian-made 1948 FX Holden. When driving uphill in the rain, the windscreen wipers stopped when accelerating, so I had to lift my foot to see the road, then accelerate again. Remember the hand signals? Straight out the window to turn, arm bend at the elbow to stop. I remember how well it caught the rain down my sleeve. When I stopped suddenly, I shot the right arm out of the window and flung the left arm across the passenger seat to protect my children from falling. Remember the dim headlight from the 6-volt battery? And tyres, which were more vulcanised patches than tubes. The leads of the battery always jumped off, no matter where I was driving, and we glided gracefully to the curb. I could release the bonnet, but it was a tall car, and I had to stand on the front bumper bar to lift the bonnet high enough to replace the leads. I could close the bonnet to the last catch, but my hands and arms didn't have the leverage to completely close the bonnet, so I would turn around on the bumper bar and sit on the bonnet, then go on my merry way until next time. Now we are in the age of change, the generation of flux, which will determine the future of the world for many generations. The children of today have the grave responsibility to choose to follow a life of security, peace and love, or the controlling leadership of technology. At this time, folk are stressed, overworked and striving for love and freedom. They have no time to relax, jumping from job to job, house to house, partner to partner, seeking happiness. They travel overseas, buy products they don't need or want, striving for more and more money and security. All this stressing must be weighed against the coming technology of artificial intelligence. Will they follow the future of driverless cars, looking out the windows and not knowing if the view is real or an AI creation of a parallel world? Will they believe choosing a stranger from a photo to implant their sperm into their eggs, let them be joined in a petri dish, born from an incubator, educated and reared by the state, and be allowed to visit their children on special days? Will they believe it is more convenient to work many jobs and get paid without having wasted time in pregnancy and the trauma of childbirth to have more money and possessions? If they are not in a career or work that they love and only working to survive? Consider the cost of new clothes, makeup, bought lunches and dinners, childcare and petrol. Is it worth it? Wave to your neighbour, laugh with your friends, enjoy your surroundings, and relax. Will they choose love, joy, laughter of children? And will they choose to relax, and happiness will come to them? The end.